Hey everybody, I'm back. Long time no see. Hi, my name is Elisa if you don't know who I am, but this is mostly for the fam, this video, so I assume you do know who I am. Last video that I uploaded is over 2 months ago. It was back in December. In that video, you've seen me frantically sew through my sewing stash, creating a number of holiday festive season get-ups and really burning the candle on both ends towards the end, which naturally made me come down with a massive, humongous, deadly virus. It was really not fun. It is currently February 1st or 2nd, and I've been sick basically since New Year's Eve. I'm back to health, I want to say. I'm still occasionally a bit like, feeling low on energy, but overall I'm good. However, that's how I spent my last month. And I'm sorry for falling off the face of the earth. I know I've also not been very keen to share on social media in that time, but I guess I just needed it. I just needed this like social media and YouTube break. But now I'm very excited to be back. Like actually, I'm not just saying that. I'm like itching to get back to things because there's so much that I want to do this year. I feel like the beginning of any given year is always the time where you feel like you're gonna tear everything down and you're gonna make a new you, and do all the things that you wanted to do in the past but you never got to. I'm trying to tame myself. I think this is a year of growth for me, probably, hopefully, personally, in many different ways. Let's get into it. Right, so if you do know me, you do know that I tend to work like a berserk for an extended period of time and then really come down with something. I don't know, could be the flu, could be something else. And that usually takes me out for like 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks even. And that has got to change. Your girl has to work on her immune system and stamina overall, because I don't want to be that girl that's constantly sick. That's just not very me. At least I don't want this to be me. So this year I already started taking all the supplements, eating all the good food, clean food only.
Probably also have to start working out again.
I'm taking it slow. It's a goal of mine to get active this year. And usually for me, running my sewing pattern business and my YouTube channel, it's always kind of like an excuse to not have the energy to do other things, as in like workout, because it can be very draining and it can also be very physically demanding. As any of you who do sew themselves will know, you do spend an extensive amount of time either on the floor or bent over your desk or your sewing machine, so it can feel very physically draining. However, I need to train my body to be able to sustain that, because at the moment I don't think it is. I used to be a yoga girly. I did quite a lot of yoga in the past and I just need to get back into it. I think I can. Maybe, just maybe, I need to sew myself some activewear to motivate myself. In any case, it's gonna happen. For me, being physically healthy is just important because I usually burn the candle on both ends, and that's not gonna change in the foreseeable future because I've also started a new job in January. As some of you might know, I do have a career in marketing and community management. In the last 4 years, have been contracting mainly, so it's worked really well for me, but I've decided to go back into full-time employment because there's a few things in my personal life that I want to do this year, and I gotta be employed for those.
And if you know, you know.
I'm hoping to make a big purchase this year, so being employed is just necessary for that. So realistically, that means that I am working 2 full-time jobs for the foreseeable future. It's not like I've not been doing this in the last years, but I feel like when you're employed full-time, there's just more, how should I say? There's more restraint on your personal time. And that's something I need to manage. So what does that mean for me this year? I have already teasered in my last video in December that I am thinking about switching to a different content schedule. At the moment, as you know, I am posting about once a week, and that's gonna change from now on, but not in the way I teased it last time. I was thinking about doing a bi-weekly schedule. However, I feel like I won't be able to keep that up because I'm just itching to get stuff done, and I want to sew and I want to create. So I think it would be quite sad for me to change it to that kind of schedule. So instead, what I'm thinking is I'm going to do 3 videos a month, and then the last Sunday of every month I'm gonna skip and take some time off. I think this gives me the breathing room that I need, but at the same time, it's not like taking the foot off the gas completely. So that's my plan. So while I've been starting that new job in January, I have also been working on a new sewing pattern. And if you do follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen it. I'm currently working on a Chanel type twin set, meaning a jacket and an A-line mini skirt, which is very exciting because it's a new style for me and it's not a dress. I've noticed that my Etsy shop is full of dresses except for the puppy blouse,
which is one of my most popular patterns, ironically.
So this year, I'm thinking I gotta challenge myself and make sewing patterns that are not exclusively dresses. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna do a dress this year, one or two, but I also want to expand my horizon and bring a little bit of, seasoning into things. So that's the first project that I'm working on, and I'm actually very excited about it. It looks like this. This is the technical drawing for it. So it's this very classy, slightly oversized, cropped, boxy jacket with 2 faux pockets in the bust area and 2 functional pockets below that, a button placket in front, and then we have the corresponding A-line skirt with a waistband, also 2 faux pockets in the front, and there are starts in the front and in the back to give it extra shape. This is currently all ready with testers, so I'm currently waiting for them to come back with their feedback so I can tweak the pattern if need be. So it's actually in full swing. Things are in full swing, so you can expect a tutorial for this sewing pattern to drop probably within the next 3 weeks, I want to think. Like, that's the goal that I've put myself anyway, unless the test comes back and it's all gone to bits and I gotta start from scratch, which I don't think it will. I'm pretty confident. Fingers crossed. So that's what I've been working on. Put a lot of time into that actually, because like I said, it's different and it's also just a lot more complex than any dress would ever be, because this has 25 pattern pieces, which is plenty. I know the Barbie movie happened a couple years ago, but I think I was influenced because I saw this beautiful coral boucle fabric, which is wild, I know. It's like very bright.
But it's also very me.
I think. I love this color because it's the perfect pink for me. It's the right shade and I'm a bit obsessed with it. And I think I'm gonna make the most Barbie ever twin set out of this. So this is what I'm gonna use. It's actually really wild how far I've come in the last 4 years, also in terms of developing my sewing patterns. If you've been around here for a while, you know that I started my YouTube channel in 2021 and then I sold my first sewing pattern in 2023. And since then I have released, give or take, 15 to 16 sewing patterns. Not all of them are online anymore because, there's trial and error and some things work better than others, and Etsy does charge you fees for listings. So some of the things that haven't worked out well I've actually taken offline again. But I currently have, I think, 11 or 12 sewing patterns on my shop that are working really well. I'm really thankful for that, and it's really been a wild ride and I've been enjoying it so much. And I can't wait to build on that foundation this year because I still feel like I have so much more to give. And I also can tell that like probably every 4 to 6 months, I'm making a big leap in terms of my skills. And the format in which my sewing patterns are being sold right now has changed so much compared to the first iteration back then. Not necessarily in terms of the pattern itself. The pattern itself will have probably always been to a similar degree in quality, but the packaging, like the print files that I've made, it was actually really hard to figure out the right format for these home printing files and how to set that up in Illustrator and all of that stuff. And then also the amount of information that you give to people, you have to work that out. And it comes with time and it comes with people asking questions and giving feedback. And I feel like I've grown so much in that regard, also even in the last 3 months. Some of you might have noticed I changed my logo as well. I've been doing this, once or twice in the last 4 years because again, 4 years for small business is really nothing. It's still in its baby shoes, I want to think. So my color palettes and my fonts that I've used have changed a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna be like this forever, but at the moment I'm very excited about it. I think it looks super cute. That also means that every time I change something like the logo, the fonts that I'm using, I have to change all of the files that I sent my sewing patterns on.
Which can be quite a lot of work.
Apart from my sewing patterns that I released in the past and last year, I made 38 garments last year that I posted on the internet. Probably there's like 1 or 2 or 3 that I made that I didn't share with you guys, but I made 38 garments. Which on any scale and any relation is too much. I think it's too much because I'm not wearing all of those things. I actually was tempted to share with you everything that I made last year, which I have, but then also everything that I made last year that I don't own anymore. And you'd be surprised. I think you would be surprised. There's a few things that I made last year that I don't even have anymore. I tend to give those things away or donate them, which, you know, I think a lot of people have this conception that sewing is gonna save you money and sewing is sustainable, which it can be, but it's not always true. If you sew with a passion and because you love fashion and fashion design, it cannot be sustainable because you are expressing your creativity and your art through this medium, which means as an artist, you have to sew a lot and produce a lot to grow and to learn and to become better. And that in and of itself is not sustainable. I stopped, I guess, at some point also promoting this idea of sustainability because if I'm honest with myself, it can't be sustainable. It just isn't. And I try to make it as sustainable as possible. And the better you get, the more sustainable you are naturally because you have to repeat steps less often. But unless you kind of limit yourself to like maybe one garment a month, you don't over purchase fabrics or other additions and haberdashery and stuff, it's never going to be sustainable. And probably it's also not going to save you money because fabrics can be expensive. There are ways to limit how, you know, unsustainable it is. You could also just limit yourself to buying dead stock fabrics only. But again, that's just a drop in the ocean probably, for me anyways, because again, 38 garments is a lot. Let's talk about some fun stuff, which I already shared with you the twin set that I'm working on, but I also want to share with you some of the other things that I'm thinking about. And again, you know, less dresses, more other things is kind of my motto this year. So we have a jacket and we have a skirt. The other thing that I'm obviously still working on, and I actually am, I promise, although I know it doesn't seem like it, I'm still working on the wrap dress. It's been tested once and it wasn't bad at all, but I don't know why I felt like I needed to let it sit some time more and then come back to it. And I feel like now's the time where I'll come back to it. But again, I'm not telling you anything about when I think I'm going to release this because probably I won't be able to live up to that promise, but I am still working on it. So that's maybe one of the dresses that I'm going to make this year. The other thing that I want to do this year is a real staple that I've also actually gotten requests for in the last year, which is a really simple oversized statement button-up shirt. You know, your good old button-up shirt, the one that, you know, you could probably buy anywhere, but getting the right fit and the right silhouette can be quite hard. And I feel like this year, button-ups are a thing. You can really style them in so many different ways, and wearing a good pair of jeans with button-up shirts is just the way to go, if you ask me. You can't do anything wrong with that. So I'm thinking using my Clio dress pattern and adjusting that into a button-up blouse
Shirt.
So that's one thing I'm thinking about. Again, I know, not insanely exciting, but if it's a good pattern, you could use that for so many different things. The other thing that I'm thinking about is separate bottoms, right? So we have the Julie twin set now, which has an A-line skirt included, but I also want to make another bottom. And I think it's time for me to challenge myself and move on to trousers because I don't have any trousers in my shop, not one. And I think that's gotta change. So I'm thinking of making some oversized elasticated waist trousers, pants, that I'm gonna pair with a cute top to make it sort of a lounge set. I don't have a concrete design for that in mind yet, but it's something that I wanna do. And I think it's a nice, easy segue into the line of trousers / pants. Let me know what you think about that. I also feel like I've been seeing the pajama look quite a lot recently. So people wearing simple cotton, wide-legged pants to the outside world, especially like in spring, and it's fun and I like the look, so why not make a pattern for it? Okay, now the next thing also has been requested quite a few times. I want to do a dress. Okay, we're back to dresses, but a dirndl style dress. If you don't know what a dirndl is a traditional Austrian dress that comes in a variety of shapes and sizes and colors and get-ups. But I want to make a modern version of it. And that's actually very, if you think about this, then it's probably going to end up looking like something Reformation would do, because Reformation heavily dipped into that dirndl silhouette style for their dresses, which is, I think, how they became very popular. So I'm thinking about doing a nice wide strapped round neckline dress. I don't know if I'm gonna do buttons in front or a zipper in the back, with a nice skirt. Very simple, very fitted and tailored, and it just being a modern version of the dirndl. That's kind of a plan, an idea, a maybe. Right, okay. And then the other thing that I already know that I kind of want to tackle is another jacket slash coat for later in the year. Because right now, as you know, I'm working on the Julie twin set, so I'm gonna have a jacket in that included, and I want to do another one which is gonna be like a sort of like long coat situation for later in the year, something very preppy, maybe with a cute collar. And that's another way to challenge myself and expand my portfolio a little bit and offer different styles on my shop. Yeah, so those are a few of the like anchoring points that I'm thinking about for this year, and if I get to all of those, then it's already a good number. So those are just the sewing patterns that I'm thinking about, right? In terms of like content, there's loads. We're gonna have these stashings, we're gonna have looking like the movies, we're gonna have I see it, I want it, and I have a few I see it, I want it planned already.
You know how it goes.
So yeah, content wise, there's lots of fun stuff coming that has nothing to do with sewing patterns per se. I also just found out that Beyonce is actually going on tour this year, so there will for sure be a video of me going to the concert and making an outfit for it, which I think is so fun. 2023 was such a fun year for me. I loved it, and I think going to that Beyonce concert was a big reason or a big chunk of why I enjoyed that year so much. So I'm totally stoked that I get to go again this year. I'm saying that I don't even have tickets yet, but I've signed up for the pre-sale, so fingers crossed. And also, I shared that already last year, I'm going to Italy for 2 whole weeks in July, and I'm probably gonna do a sort of like mini capsule vacation wardrobe content series for that as well, which I already have quite a few fabrics for. My fabric addiction has not subsided. If anything, it's going strong. Things have not really changed. There's like fabrics everywhere in my room. I'm trying to get a grip of myself, but so far I've not succeeded. Such is the fate of a sewing YouTuber, you know. Anyway, that's it for today. I know it's been a bit all over the board. I just wanted to give you sort of like a life update of where I am right now. The fact that I did not die, even though it might have seemed like it, I'm still very much around. So for everybody who's still on the Frills and Stitches train, thank you so much for sticking around. It's 25,000 of us now, which is really wild. And I'm really thankful for that, to every single one of you. And by the way, I know that a lot of you are watching not being subscribed. Please press that button. That would help me so much. If all of you who are watching but are not subscribed would subscribe, I'd probably be at 35,000 in an instant. That would be very helpful. Just, you know, food for fun. Thanks so much, and I see you next week. I've already filmed a tutorial, so something's coming. We're getting back into a routine, don't worry. All right, see you then. Bye-bye.